Hi everyone, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome to this session. Please let me know if I'm audible and visible. Is it all good to go? You can confirm. For those who are new here, I'm your faculty of English, Harika John Mehra, and I have been teaching for more than 10 years now. So you get my regular sessions here. We are doing editorial analysis in this session, जहाँ पे हम skimming कर रहे हैं, सीख रहे हैं, practice कर रहे हैं. हम grammar भी discuss करते हैं, हम vocabulary सीखते हैं, which is very important for all of you. And we cover the MCQ part where you get some questions to practice. So it's a session that covers each and every single thing. Right. Now, talking about the other classes, tomorrow we are going to have class tomorrow and day after tomorrow on this channel at 10:30 a.m. So I want you guys to be there on this time if you want to practice questions, and then back to 8 p.m. हमारी ये वाली class रहेगी. Okay. So yeah, that's it. All you have to do is like, share and subscribe now. और अगर आपको free PDFs चाहिए हैं, make sure that आपने हमारा Telegram channel group join करा हुआ हो, and the link is in the description for the same. So we are going to start with skimming. Skimming क्या होती है? Skip कर करके पढ़ना. ठीक है? Skip कर करके पढ़ना. आप पूरा सा सेंटेंस एग्जैक्टली एज इट इज नहीं पढ़ते हो. व्हाट यू डू इज, जैसे आपको एमपी पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड है तो पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड भी पढ़ के आगे आपको समझ में आ जाएगा कि कहाँ के बोर्ड की बात हो रही है. प्लीज फॉलो दिस. सेव टाइम. अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए, हल्की अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए पढ़ो. ट्रांसलेट करने, मेमोराइज करने के लिए नहीं पढ़ना है. So we will start now. I will give you 2.5 minutes to go through it. And then in one line, if you can tell me कि आपने क्या समझा, क्या पढ़ा है, that would be great. So, away from the edge on waste disposal from 1984 Bhopal plant accident. तो वेस्ट डिस्पोजल जो कि भोपाल प्लांट एक्सीडेंट से निकला उस समय हुआ, उससे रिलेटेड बातें हमें यहाँ पता चलेंगी। द इंसिनरेशन मतलब जलाया जाना ऑफ टॉक्सिक वेस्ट फ्रॉम भोपाल ट्रेजेडी टुक टाइम एंड एफर्ट। तो ये टॉक्सिक वेस्ट को जलाने का काम जो है भोपाल ट्रेजेडी से जो निकला था टॉक्सिक वेस्ट, उसमें टाइम और एफर्ट जो है इट्स नीडेड या लगा वो देखेंगे। The MP Pollution Control Board has confirmed that officials has incinerated 337 tons of toxic waste moved to a private waste treatment facility in Pitampur from the defunct Union Carbide facility in Bhopal. बेसिकली एक डिक्लेरेशन कंफर्मेशन आया है कि कितना टन ऑफ टॉक्सिक वेस्ट जो है जलाया जा चुका है। वेस्ट एंड मूव्ड के बीच में स्पेस होना था, बट इन द आर्टिकल इट वाजंट गिवन। दिस इज एग्जैक्टली द आर्टिकल जो कि दिया गया था, तो कई बार मिस्टेक्स एडिटर्स से भी हो जाती है। द इवेंट क्लोजेस अ सिंगल बट इम्पॉर्टेंट चैप्टर इन द सॉर्डेड हिस्ट्री, मतलब बहुत ही कड़वी हिस्ट्री है। ऑफ कोर्स इट्स अनप्लेजेंट of the 84 disaster, the state response to which pushed the city and its people to the edge. तो बहुत लोग इससे परेशान हुए। The successful incineration is illustrative in that it demanded interventions from MP High Court. अभी क्यों ये इस तरीके से इम्पॉर्टेंट है, ऐसा क्या है जो कि इसके इंसिनरेशन जो है इसका जलाया जाना है उसको लेकर इतनी बड़ी बात क्यों है, ऐसा क्या है? So we get to see that illustratively, मतलब कि एक एग्जाम्पल है कि किस तरीके से सक्सेसफुल इंसिनरेशन जो है इट डिमांडेड इंटरवेंशंस फ्रॉम कोर्ट, सुप्रीम कोर्ट, other ministry, other stakeholders. In the end, the state government was able to arrange for the waste to be safely disposed of. तो आखिर में स्टेट ने कुछ रास्ता निकाल लिया, इंक्लूडिंग एन आउटरीच एक्सरसाइज टू assuage public anxiety over the emission. इसके साथ साथ दे रीच्ड आउट टू, यस एक्चुअली पीतमपुर इज नेक्स्ट टू इंदौर, लगा हुआ है थोड़े, फ्रॉम माय हाउस 15-20 किलोमीटर्स अवे। तो एनीवे यहाँ पे बहुत प्रोटेस्ट हुआ, सो पब्लिक एंजाइटी को कम करने के लिए भी बहुत कुछ करा गया था, एंड इट रिक्वायर्ड दिस मच ऑफ अमाउंट। Evidently that the means have always existed. The political initiative to effect them, effect as a verb use हुआ है लागू करने के लिए, initiative को लेकर आने के लिए, काम करने के लिए, has been wanting, वहाँ पर कमी रह जाती थी। It is an important detail. Waste, once it has entered the environment, has a tendency to be converted into different forms. It seldom goes away. वो अलग अलग फॉर्म में बदल जाता है, कोई भी वेस्ट पूरे से नष्ट नहीं होता। The toxic waste incinerated thus far has yielded more than 800 tons of ash residue. इतना सारा बाय प्रोडक्ट निकला that officials will have to landfill in a scientific manner. और बहुत ही साइंटिफिक तरीके से लैंडफिल में उसे कन्वर्ट करना पड़ेगा। Like solid waste landfills around the country, this new facility will require a regular upkeep, monitoring, funds of its own. ऐसा लगेगा न्यू फैसिलिटी जहाँ पे पूरा हो रहा है, लैंडफिल्स जो कि बनाए जा रहे हैं, उसके लिए यहाँ पे ध्यान देना। Sorry guys, I'm not well. उसका ध्यान देना पड़ेगा यहाँ पे, right? So the site of the Union Carbide plant also contains several more tons of contaminated soil. Soil खराब हो गई वहाँ पे, artifacts है, contaminated subsurface resources हैं, ऊपर से है, अंदर से, सब जगह से contamination है. Crucially, much of the impetus for positive change in the manner force चाहिए, positive change के लिए इस matter पे, including waste removal, has come from victims' families, survivors, activists rather than from state. So बहुत सारा जो इसमें फोर्स लगा है पॉजिटिव चेंज के लिए, वो लोगों से आया, सिविलियन से आया, दोस्त हु हैव सफर्ड एंड ऑल, जो कि स्टेट से आना चाहिए, गवर्नमेंट से आना चाहिए। सर्वाइवर ग्रुप्स हैव फाइल्ड पिटिशंस फाइल करें, आर्ग्यूइंग द डेथ्स एंड इंजरीज कंटिन्यूड टू बी अंडर काउंटेड एंड दैट दे आर ओड इन्फ्लेशन एडजस्टेड डैमेजेस। अब जो कि विक्टिम थे, उन लोगों के साथ क्या हो रहा है दैट दे हैव फाइल्ड पिटिशन से कि अभी का टाइम का जो इन्फ्लेशन जो है उस हिसाब से डैमेजेस को पे करना चाहिए, और अभी भी इंजरीज को कम काउंट करा गया। सिंस द सुप्रीम कोर्ट क्लोज द डोर ऑन द क्यूरेटिव रूट, also in dispute is whether a new valuation of losses can be forced on। ये न्यू वैल्यूएशन होना चाहिए लॉसेस की भरपाई के लिए। द Dow Chemical Company, notwithstanding the fact that it remains a proclaimed offender। किसको offender माना जा रहा है उसका नाम है long-term surveillance has been patchy, it has not been smooth, with activists and survivors alleging that the advisory committee appointed by the top court has met only sporadically। कभी कभी मिलती थी कमिटी जो अपॉइंटेड थी, कभी नहीं मिलती थी, and that local hospitals continue to suffer a shortage। लोकल हॉस्पिटल में शॉर्टेज हो रहा है ऑफ स्पेशलिस्ट मेडिकल वर्कर्स टू अटेंड सर्वाइवर्स। सर्वाइवर्स पे जो अभी भी असर है उनको हैंडल करने टैकल करने के लिए मेडिकल ऑफिसर्स भी इनफ नहीं है। In the final analysis, Dow, the company, must account for all remediation activities। the company को भरपाई करनी चाहिए। Both the state and the center must close pending settlement claims। सेंटर को भी और स्टेट को भी सेटलमेंट करना चाहिए। एंड अटेंड ऑन अ सेल्फ मोटिवेटेड बेसिस वेल बीइंग, खुद से ही आगे होकर वेल बीइंग का सोचना चाहिए। इफ रिक्वायर्ड विद द असिस्टेंस ऑफ अ न्यू स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी टू यूनिफाई हेल्थ रिलीफ एटसेट्रा। अल्टीमेटली द फैमिलीज मस्ट बी एबल टू मूव ऑन। तो फैमिलीज को बार बार भाग भाग कर काम नहीं करवाना। दैट इज द मेन थिंग यहाँ का ऑथर। Okay. Oh, you want me to? Oh, so basically, what has happened here, I hope you understood the summary of it. We can see how people have taken initiatives. They have filed petitions. They want the amount of whatever amount they are getting from the government, from the company as a settlement. It should be inflation adjusted as per the rates of things going on today, not what it was decided years ago. And author is basically saying it should be the government to take some steps to make sure that these survivors they get proper care, medication, medical attention, and as well as compensation. I'm so sorry, Zeba, I missed your comment. So incineration is to burn something, combustion जलाना, sordid is shameful, wild बहुत ही गंदा, शर्मनाक, मन खट्टा कर देने वाला। Assuage is to alleviate, to ease something. Initiative is any enterprise, any drive, any first step taken towards a bigger thing. Remediation is correction, some kind of improvement through rectification। प्रोक्लेम डिक्लेयर करना, कोई चीज को हम जाकर अनाउंस कर रहे हैं। हैजार्डस इज समथिंग विच इज रिस्की, नुकसान पहुंचाने वाला, खतरनाक, डेंजरस। सब सरफेसेस सबटेरेनियन, अंडरग्राउंड, जमीन के नीचे लेकिन फिर भी ऊपर ऊपर वाले सरफेस पे, नॉट वेरी डीप। सर्वेलेंस इज मॉनिटरिंग एंड ऑब्जर्वेशन। Sporadically something happens, it happens on and off, which is irregularly। Artifacts means the remains and relics, बचा हुआ पुराने समय का अवशेष। It could be something valuable, it may not be something valuable। Valuation is the appraisal assessment of something। Okay? Subject verb agreement of this sentence. Actually, it is much of the impetus. Much of anything means much is the subject and it is singular in nature. Okay, so much of is used with uncountable noun. Much of your time, much of my energy, of the impetus. So there you go. There are two main verbs and two main subjects in this sentence. Tell me both of them. The Supreme Court closed the door. Since के साथ का ये है. Okay? The Supreme Court singular closed past it. The second part also in dispute is. Okay, so whatever X thing is in dispute, that is whether ABCD. So यहाँ पे in dispute understandable है कि we are saying whatever is in dispute. So in dispute उसके लिए is लगा हुआ है. Okay, I hope you are getting this point. Part of speech. It is a verb. Part of speech. Assuage. To assuage. 2 plus V1. Landfills is now. Very good. Part of speech. Adjective. Contaminated is adjective because what type of soil? Already contaminated. Verb third form as adjective. So the tone here is critical and reflective. The editorial discusses the recent incineration of 337 tons of toxic waste. इसको जलाया जाना, to burn so much of toxic waste from 84 gas tragedy. and calling it a long overdue but significant step. So author has definitely mentioned that it was a big step taken, but it does criticize the delay which required court intervention and pressure from survivors and activists. Okay, so this is what happened. Despite the cleanup, which is already done, several issues still remain. So there are things which are unresolved. People still require attention. They still need financial support, including proper landfill management and ongoing care. So the article urges the government and Dow Chemical, the factory, the company, to fulfill their responsibilities towards lasting remediation. Something that should last, that should be effective, not some kind of remedy which is going to be there just for some time. Start answering the question. What does the editorial primarily highlight about India's approach to the disaster aftermath? It emphasizes the delays and lack of political will, because will is of the victims and court का सहारा लेना पड़ा. What is implied about the role of judiciary in toxic waste disposal process? What is implied about the role of judiciary is B again. It played a pivotal role in driving action. उसके ही कारण action हो रहा हुआ. Why does the editorial mention the cost and timeline of incineration? What would be the reason to show the effective action was always possible, just that it got delayed? Even for the third one, answer is B. Why is Dow Chemical mentioned as proclaimed offender? Because it has consistently refused legal cooperation. What does the editorial suggest about long-term health monitoring of victims? So it suggests it has been irregular and insufficient. No, the monitoring, health monitoring, where the people are not enough, so it's not insufficient, it's also irregular. Mentioned no in the passage. I don't know. The minister insisted that the report, though controversial in its findings, ये report को समझा रहा है, report reflect is right because insisted के साथ when we talk about what is insisted, we use the bare infinitive form. Like, we use the bare verb form. Reflect the true conditions on the ground. This is not the literal ground. We mean where is the problem at the lowest level, at the ground level, where people are connected. So वहाँ पे on the ground आएगा. Article is missing here, and that's what you have to check. What you had to check. The committee discussed not just the merger proposal but also considered the long term effects of the acquisition. So not just discussed, अगर मैं discussed के लिए बात कर रही हूँ, parallelism यहाँ maintain. So the committee not just discussed but also considered. Okay. So the problem here is in A, the word discussed is at wrong place. Okay. तो आपका आंसर A होगा. नहीं, not just, not only is fine. I mean, you have a bigger problem here, which is of parallelism. So you would want to address that problem first. Okay. Answer is not C. Answer में हम first part correct करेंगे. Unlike the smartphone released last year, the battery life of this model is significantly better. No doubt इसमें is आएगा. बहुत ही सिंपल सब्जेक्ट वर्ब अग्रीमेंट का एरर था. each candidate must submit their credentials. Each candidate, singular. So when you use a pronoun later on or a possessive adjective later on, आपको उसे singular के according use करना होगा. Each candidate must submit his credentials or her credential, कुछ भी दोनों में से एक आ सकता है, along with a written explanation of why he or she. यहाँ पे clue भी था आपके सामने. Answer was right in front of you. The audit revealed not only discrepancies in the financial report but also discrepancy को repeat कर दो, parallelism maintain हो जाएगा. So answer is C. Compliance. No. Discrepancies in compliance. That's what we are going to talk about ना. समझ में आया यहाँ पे है? Not only but also कही था, but agreement कैसे ठीक करें वो entirely depend करता है the type of question that we have in hand. But not only revealed कर देंगे तो but also is still wrong. But also के बाद in compliance. What in compliance? It's incomplete ना. Even without the noun, it is not giving any sense. In को किससे connect करें? So for clarity and for parallelism हमें discrepancies word को repeat करना होगा. No, compliance is like we don't need the, because compliance is uncountable. There is like there are rare cases where it uncountable के साथ we use the. The judge's remarks were seen as something against the inefficiency. तो जज के रिमार्क अगर कुछ inefficient है तो tirade, very full of anger, maybe criticizing. So उसे tirade बोलेंगे, positive words नहीं आएंगे. While the theory is widely accepted, its practical, क्या थ्योरी का डिप्लॉयमेंट होगा, वैलिडिटी होगी, कन्वर्जन या हैल्यूसिनेशन होगा. हाल्यूसिनेशन इज ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट थिंग जो थ्योरी का नहीं होता. तो इट्स मतलब थ्योरी इज प्रैक्टिकल व्हाट हैज येट टू बी डेमोन्स्ट्रेटेड. तो थ्योरी को डिप्लॉय नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज इट्स अ थ्योरी. अभी तक वो एक्शनेबल प्लान नहीं है ना. वैलिडिटी है जो कि डिमॉन्स्ट्रेट होना बाकी हो सकती है, कब तक के लिए वैलिड है. That's why B is the answer. Do you know deployment is to It's tanat karna. It's to position a person at the place where from where he can attack, or a thing from where we can utilize it. But it is theory. The word itself is something which is a hypothesis. The deployment word काम नहीं आया. The scientist was accused of data fabrication, but he defended himself against the dash. तो accused हुआ लेकिन he defended. तो कैसे defend करा होगा against the allegations, है ना? He was accused, तो उसके ऊपर क्या लगे? उसके ऊपर allegation लगे, है ना? Accolades are again rewards and approvals, positive conjectures के लिए तो किसी को क्या ही यहाँ पे defend करना होगा. The company's response to the crisis was dashed, lacking both urgency and compensation, so it was negative for sure. It was impassive. It wasn't immediate, inwards, exhaustive, तो कोई sense नहीं बनाएगा यहाँ. The book was lauded, praised not only for its vivid description, but also for its narrative structure. तो कैसा क्या होगा? For the coherence, the narrative structure was very much related to the each event mentioned. Duplicity, randomness, negative word तो चाहिए नहीं था, है ना? Isn't emotion, ma'am? The response was impassive. So you are saying that is impassive an emotion? Is that your question? Not showing any kind of response, being blank. Okay, it's like being indifferent. तो response था ही नहीं, कुछ cold shoulder दे दिया ऐसा. I hope now you get it. Yeah, that's it guys. Thank you so much. I'm gonna catch you later. Tomorrow 10:30 a.m. we have a class here, practice class, and p.m. Okay, so great. Hello, got to go now. Take